Hello students. In the last video, I had taught you the chapter, the last lesson. I had introduced the chapter and explained the first 3 pages. I would now continue with the same chapter. We now know how the rule imposed by Germans that only German would be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine brought about a change in the lives of France and all the villagers of Alsace. We also now know that M. Hamel, the teacher, clarified to everyone that how we should guard our language, our mother tongue amongst us. How our language is the key to our freedom. After explaining this, the students in the classroom had to read grammar. Everybody opened their grammar book and M. Hamel started explaining. Franz was surprised to see how well he understood whatever M. Hamel taught. It was as if M. Hamel had never taught with so much patience, and they had not heard it, not listened it with so much attention. Everything seemed so easy. He felt that his teacher wanted to imbibe in them all the knowledge which he had in one stroke. After the grammar, the students had lesson in writing. That day, the teacher M. Hamel had brought notebooks for each and everyone in the class. And in all the notebooks, he himself had written in round handwriting, France Alsace, France Alsace. And these letters looked like little flags which were floating everywhere in the classroom. Everyone started to write intently. And they were writing so quietly with so much, you can say, attention, focus, that no noise was there. Only the sound of the scratching of pens. Just imagine, pin drop silence. Once some beetles flew in, but nobody paid any attention. Not even the littlest ones. On the roof, the pigeons cooed very low. And sarcastically Franz thinks whether the Germans, whether these pigeons could also be made to sing in German. This is very, very, very symbolic expression. Because this tells that you can enslave a territory, but you cannot enslave the heart of the people of that territory. You cannot, bind the emotions. You cannot control the love for one's nation. Even when you can control, you can be victorious. You can defeat that country. Whenever Franz looked up from his writing, he saw M. Hamel sitting quietly on his chair. He was gazing first at one thing, then at another thing. It was as if he wanted to fix everything in his mind, in his heart. Just imagine, 40 years he had been there, teaching the students of Alsace. Everything was same, only the desks and the benches had been once smooth. The walnuts in the garden, they had grown taller, and the hopvines, they had, twined across the windows. No other difference, no other change. Franz felt pity for his teacher because he felt that he must be very low. He must be very, very sad. He was hearing his sister packing up their trunks. It must be very heartbreaking moment for him. Yet the teacher M. Hamel had the courage to listen every lesson till the very last. And this explains that he is an ideal teacher. After the lesson of writing, the small the small children there, they started chanting the alphabets, ba, be, boo. And with them, old Hauser, he started chanting those letters. He had worn spectacles. And while chanting those letters, tears rolled down his cheek. His voice trembled. And this scene was so funny, yet full of emotion. So much that Franz wanted to laugh and cry both at the same time. After some time, the church clock struck 12. The Prussian soldiers returning back from their drill. Time to wind up the class. M. Hamel silently rose from his chair, took his chalk, and turned to the blackboard. My dear students, he said. And he was so very full of emotions, he couldn't utter a single word. He simply took up his chalk and on the blackboard, in large handwriting, he wrote, Vive la France. That means, long live France. This was his last lesson, and this was the last lesson of France too, and of all the villagers. And his last, lesson was the patriotism. He couldn't turn to the student, he couldn't face the students, and with his hands he just made a gesture that the class was over and they could go. How well Franz would remember his last lesson. Dear students, this was your chapter, the last lesson. Please go through it. And if you face any problem in answering any question, please let me know. As for today, I would like to give you a little piece of homework. I have 3 questions for you. First is when the pigeons coo on the rooftop and Franz says, will they make them sing in German? What is its significance? This is the first question. Second question is, explain the last lesson conducted by M. Hamel. And the last question is, how does M. Hamel make the villagers realize the importance of their language. So, students, this is all for now. Stay well, stay safe. Bye.